Hello everyone, welcome to Break a Bolt. On today's episode, I'm gonna be changing the rear axle CV joint boot. So a little bit of backstory. I bought the complete rear end from a crashed E46 M3. I didn't realize until I was taking it apart that on driver's side, left inner CV joint was damaged during the accident, I believe. So I had two options. I could either buy a complete new CV joint and set it up. That requires a press and a little bit of work, and it cost about $80. I found another axle from an E46 M3 for the same price, so I figured I'll just do it. The only problem was the axle I got, outer CV joint boot is torn on that axle. So I figured since I have two, I would put parts together and get them working. So without further ado, let's get rolling. I had to take the rear axle off of the call it the carrier, I guess. So it's a 36mm lock nut. There's two lock points on the sides. You're gonna have to use a flathead or a chisel to break it off, and then you could unbolt it. Sometimes you need a little bit of persuasion. I had to use some heat to take it off, but it's out. So the axles. This is the original axle. I got it with the car. Inner CV joint is completely crap. Like, it's not fluid, and it gets stuck. But on this, the outer is fine, and the boot cover seems to be fine as well. This is the replacement one I got. So this one is quite fluid. There's no play whatsoever. I mean, how do you say? It flexes, but there's no play in it. And on the outer, it's supposed to go in and out, I'm guessing, but the only problem is the boot cover is torn. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the outer boot cover on this and replace it to the one which is decent. So yeah, let's get going. This part is usually crushed between the differential and the Torx bolt. I believe it's a Torx, inverse Torx 12 or 10, maybe 12 or 14, I'm not sure. So all I have to do is just pump it up. That's basically it. You tap it out and it'll come out, and there's a lock ring right here, so once I clean it out we can take that out. I'm going to take the retainer clip off so the whole assembly can come down as soon as I get this in place. Clip. That seems pretty easy. Just gonna get a bucket so I can put all these ball joints in there.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Wow. The whole assembly came off in pieces. So I guess it's completely shit. Let's try to take this retainer clip off and see if it'll come out. Okay, the inner one came out in one piece. The boot cover itself seems in pretty good condition. There's no cracks. So all I need to do is just it's good and bad news. So initially I thought it was the inner CV joint which was crapped out, but after further inspection and taking it apart, it looks like the outer CV joint was crapped out too. So first the cap was crushed, and there are, I don't know if you could see it, there are holes on the cap, which I did not notice before. And when I removed the outer CV joint, the whole mechanism came in pieces. So good thing is I only need the dust boot cover, I believe. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fast forward and taking the other axle off and see if it's salvageable. I just took my replacement axle, and luckily it just came as one assembly. So if you look at the other one, it's missing the whole inner bearing set. It was because the whole thing was crushed, and there's supposed to be a cage which are holding the ball bearings. So I don't know if you can see it. So this is the cage, and the ball bearings are stuck in between. Looks like I'm in luck, so I'm gonna clean this up, put some grease on, and start putting it inside again. So in order to do this, you're gonna need some ball bearing grease, and we'll start cleaning it up. Well, here's the semi-new boot. So you're going to do the same process if you're replacing just the boot itself. Yeah. Okay. Once you slide it in, you should be able to put your thumb from the inside and push it out so it seats. And it basically locks it down at that point. The splines on the shaft itself is clean, and there's no, well, at least no rust or whatsoever. Just gonna clean the retainer clip a little bit. Make sure it's not bended or disformed while you're taking it out, just to be sure. Get a couple of, slight love taps to make sure the ring is, the lock ring is properly placed in there. And make sure it can flex once you put the ring, so there's nothing, stopping it from doing it. Just gonna put some extra grease on the cup, just in case. One of these bags is like $2, so I don't see any problem in just putting extra. You don't want to have like no grease, so I get it dry. But now we just had to line up the sleeve or the cup to make sure it seals on. One of the easiest way I found is to just put a screwdriver from the other side so you can align it to the hole. And I'm just gonna just through and fill out the bolts which connects the axle to the differential to make sure it's aligned, and now I'm gonna just seal up the cover. So this way I'm not gonna have any issues when I try to put the axle back and the hole's not being lined up. It's gonna be a pain since and if you're gonna have room to play around while trying to put the axle, because I'm basically doing it on jack stands, and I don't want to have any issues while I'm trying to put it back in. So I got the inner ring in no problem, but the outer ring is giving me problems, and I figured, you know what, I don't want to mess with it too much because I don't want to get it damaged. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get like one of those C-clamps what you use for like turbo flanges, and use one of those and tie it up. For the moment I'm using a zip tie to hold it, and yeah, probably that's what I'm gonna do in the next time. So if you're doing this next time, make sure you get, you know, a clamping thing which works properly, or get a whatever the tool you have to use it. If not, just get a regular C-clamp. Or is that what you call it? Like the, you know, squeezing things. So that's about it. We're done for the day. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to get more videos out, and I want to get this done for Beamer Fest. So, alright. I'll see you guys next time.